So here we are in the quiet little place of Goldtown. What are we doing here, I wonder? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of my Transport Fever series connecting up the Grand Canyon. Today we're starting off episode number 19. And in this episode we're going to go ahead and connect up the final two towns of this series, or map I guess, which aren't connected up properly to the grid with any form of transport. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and look at the different towns and just see how everything is doing, because I want to just see the general population of all the towns and look at the two towns which are not connected up to the grid. So we're going to go ahead and filter this by population, and you can probably tell the two towns that are not connected up. Eagle Creek, which is just over here to the north, and then we've also got Glenwood, which is just down here. So these are the two which are just simply not connected up to the grid and are really needing to grow. Flipping this the other way though, Boulder has a population of 3,800, which is pretty much just connected onto Jackson, so that whole valley there has a population of over 6,000, and that is why we're having our problems that we're having. We've also got in there Tajada, which is doing extremely well, over 3,000 now. Silverton, Willow Creek, Castle Rock. I mean, there's so many I could name there. You can see them for yourself. But these tiny little villages have become near enough cities, which is causing me a lot of problems if you did see the last episodes. Anyway, we're here to go ahead and look into the future though. So Glenwood is right now connected up by a very windy road, to be honest, a road which I'm not 100% liking. I wish these notifications would piss off because it always causes lag. Right now though, there is some people using this road to drive down to the town, however it's not going to be practical for building a... It's just really weavy, and you actually have to come down here to get to Eagle Creek as well, so I'm going to go ahead and create two efficient roads down to these towns. For this it's going to be tunnels, it's going to be large tunnels, however we have the money, and I mean we're 1.3 billion now, so we definitely have the money to go ahead and do something like this anyway. So what I want to do is maybe something like that, to be honest. 34 million, which creates a bridge in this wee valley here, then a tunnel which goes right through, and that is the most direct route I'm going to get, to be honest, and that's why that is getting built. So that is one problem solved. We'll keep the old road, to be honest. The old road is still good to have, however I doubt it'll get much use because we've got this more faster and efficient route. Now coming down to Eagle Creek's different because there's this huge valley and I don't want to create too much of an eyesore. So the first thing is what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade part of the current road because we're going to have to use part of this current road. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade that section and that section pretty much up to this bridge. Now I'm not going to have that bridge going over there because that sort of leads away from the town. So what I want to try and do is have if I can, a separate bridge. If we just very quickly go ahead and try and build something over to here, for example. If we can align the terrain. You get my idea though. I want to go ahead and sort of build something over here which can work and make its way up to the town a little bit easier. So we'll go ahead and start off with that there, which that's really not, it's not as bad as it could have been, but it's not elegant. And then I just want to go ahead and try and create something which maybe weaves around to there. Now that is not ideal and I don't like the entrance angle, so can I go ahead and try and do that a little different? Like that, yeah, that's not too steep. It's going to cost me 85 million, but again we have the money, and that is, I really don't know if I do. I'd maybe prefer a tunnel, to be honest. Actually, we're going to leave it like that for now, but I might come back and change it at some point. Again, just something different. Again, I mean, it's a bit of an eyesore though, and I just don't like these concrete columns, you know what I mean? They're very thin and they don't look realistic. They really don't. I would much prefer to see like a mesh going ahead and connecting up the bridge. But it's done now and we'll leave it. I should really stop doubting myself, that's the bottom line. Anyway, we're going to come back up here into Goldtown and we're going to try and build ourselves a bus station. I don't know where the bus station is going to go. Probably at this crossroads here, to be honest. And I want it to be, of course, quite near to the railway station as well, so people have access and walking distance to this place. So I'm going to go ahead and try and build it in here. First of all though, I'm going to have to go ahead and make a few terrain edits. So there we go, that is a nice level plateau. Now when I was going ahead and thinking about placing this bus station, I don't know if I'm going to only go for the one platform one, so it's not exactly going to be the same as all the other ones, so it's I guess a bit of a chode of a station, to be honest. Actually, it's very short. It's going to have only I think only 2 bus lines. I mean, it's going to go down to obviously the 2 towns we're going to connect up to. I don't think there is any need for a connect. I mean, I can go ahead and connect the bus lines leaving this town in a certain way which should serve the town, and there's no need to have anything coming along here to Apache Ranch. So a lot of people waiting at that bus stop, so again there might be time for a capacity upgrade over there. We'll get to that near the end of the episode. Let's go ahead and connect possibly our final 2 bus lines, to be honest, because there's not going to be, I mean there might be 1 or 2 new lines created, but these are going to be our 2 main final lines getting created that are bus lines, if blah 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 that makes any sense. Right, so we're starting off there, so we're going to go ahead and I guess do the Glenwood one first. I still want you to serve, no actually we'll do Eagle Creek one first, because this is going to be a little bit more difficult. This is going to be the line which I guess serves the town and serves the people more. So we'll start off with a bus stop there, we'll then have another bus stop all the way at the top of town, we'll then have another bus stop probably about there. So that's 3 bus stops which serve town quite well. Then we'll have another one as you leave, and then you'll make the long journey down here and then into Eagle Creek. Now, Eagle Creek is one of these towns which has not got very much flat land at all, and is something which I don't think this town's going to grow too much, if I'm totally honest. I really don't. So I'm not gonna give it a bus station 1, I'm only gonna give it probably about 3 bus stops as well. I'm gonna build one up the top end here, just predicting for some growth in the future coming up this way, but because this is it's more of a V-shaped valley than a U-shaped valley. If you've ever done geography and studied glaciers before, then think of valleys as a U-shape or a V-shape. This is very much a V-shape where there's not very much flat land at all to build on at the bottom. But with all those bus stops in place, we're actually good to go ahead and start the line ASAP. So let's go ahead and jump in here. Let's start off at 12th Street. We'll then go into Laurel Street and then into Lakeview Street, which actually might be a new street name. We're then going to come into Wilson Street, then into 9th Street, then Main Street, Washington Street, and then Goldtown, and then we're just going to go ahead and run back through all the stops. And I can remember this, what was this town it used to be called? It used to be called like Green Lays or Silverton. There was like a name clash. I think it was another Silverton actually, and we named it Goldtown just because there was Silverton up the roads. But that is that line created, which is good to see, so I'll very quickly go ahead and name this. So that is that line created now, the Goldtown to Eagle Creek line, so that is 1 of 2 done. Now we need to go ahead and do this final line, which most of Goldtown is served, to be honest, with that line, so I don't need to go ahead and really worry about too many extra bus stops in this town. So I'll go ahead and probably have 1 like maybe there or something, and then that would serve this tiny wee corner of town at the end of the line. And then Glenwood's an interesting one. Glenwood is not really in a valley, to be honest. I mean, it's a very short valley though. It's more of a, I can't remember the feature. A corrie, that's what it is, it's a corrie. So this is really in a corrie, to be honest, which is a glacier which sort of just creates like a seat shape, a bowl shape sort of carved into the mountain at 3 sides is what it really is. You can go ahead and read up if you want to on Wikipedia. However, I'm not going to teach you geography. As much as I love geography, I'm not going to go ahead and give you a geography lesson. But with all those stops created, we can go ahead and create this line. So back up here, starting off at the station, into Adams Street. We're then going to jump down here to Birch Street, then 6th Street, then Maple Street, and then just go ahead and hit all the same stops on the way back. And a very simple line there, which only has 8 little stops. So there we go, that is us good from Goldtown to Glenwood. So the final thing we need to go ahead and do is create ourselves a depot, which this place doesn't have a depot, because in general, since we went ahead and added in the railway station, this town really hasn't actually been served that well at all. But now with these extra 2 lines, it should hopefully be going forward. Anyway, let's pivot this. Stick you in there. Again, I really don't know why it deletes that house across the road. We'll jump in here though, passengers, and let's get our intercity buses Now I'm only going to go ahead and buy 4 for each route, and I really don't think I'll ever need any more, that's the honest opinion. So we'll go ahead and assign 4's maybe even too much, to be honest. It's more the frequency I'm buying 4 for, it's not actually the capacity I'm buying 4 for. So that is it, assigned onto the Eagle and onto the Glenwood line, and you guys should be good to roll out. So, I mean, even if these lines do make a profit, they're really not going to make that a large profit, that is for sure. I do want to go ahead and colour these vehicles though appropriately, so that is that colour I believe, and then coming in here to the Glenwood, that is at dark blue. Just want to make sure in general all my colours are correct, because it's nice to see multiple different colours of buses, I guess, going along the road, if you get what I mean. So if it's black, and if it's not being set to black, then that means it's a combination of different colours, and that's just me being, I guess, lazy when I'm going ahead and buying. I'm just going to go ahead and assign a few use. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, assigning use to the right colours, which I think that's the right colour. I still don't think that's the right colour, it's really difficult to tell half the time. It might be more that colour, yeah, that's more of an orange actually than a brown. That's just me being a little bit colourblind there. But with that done, that is all the towns finally connected up, which is good to see. It's just going to take, obviously, Glenwood and Eagle Creek a little bit of time to get used to everything. But after that happens, then we should be good going forwards. Anyway, there's a few issues. Can we see a few issues? Yeah, there's a few issues, let's put it that way. And this is why, this is really what the series is going to be now, going forward. So again, I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but it's going to be a lot of issue tampering and also just modifications to lines, which is still entertaining. So let's go ahead and drop down here and let's see how our railway line is doing now. So it is into the profit just 103k. We have in the past episode, if you go ahead and go back, and if you didn't see it then, we had a lot of issues with this line and we landed up going ahead and just cutting a whole station and a whole part of the line off down to Yampa because it was just causing us way too many issues, which just wasn't worth it at all. Now that that railway line, or part of the railway line anyway, has been cut out, it seems to be flowing much more efficiently and it looks like it's just teetering on the profit now. At least it's down to a loss of only 2 million now, but I mean sometimes it's in the profit, sometimes it's in the not. Looking at this station here, I'm just going around and looking at all the stations I guess I flagged up in the last episode that could go ahead and have some traffic issues because it looks like buses were all using the same lane. This one here is doing not too bad, to be honest, so we can go ahead and leave that one. The other one was in Milton Caves, I think. This was causing a little bit of an issue, but you're totally fine, which is good to see. And then what about Williams? I went ahead and created this new road at the end of the last episode actually, and it is getting built on, which is good to see. I'm glad. What about here? You're doing fine as well. So in general, all our amber flags, I guess, are doing okay. I said I would look at Apache Ranch, and why is there so many people wanting to travel? It's just insane, so many people want to go down to Apache Ranch. That makes me want to build a railway in the valleys, to be honest, but I know it's just really difficult. Or have a railway line which goes from Apache Ranch maybe to Ward's Ranch if it could, to Silverton and then reconnect to the line. That would be really cool. I just think there's a bit too much of a height difference in between the towns, to be honest, and I think it would just cause too many difficulties. I'll maybe play around with that more at the end of the series, to be honest. I'm just going to go ahead and add in some more buses for the time being though. So that is a sort of a purple colour of line, and we'll go ahead and jump in here and we're going to buy quite a lot of road vehicles. Now someone did suggest 2 or 3 episodes ago in the comment section, why don't you go ahead and use the City Bendy buses because they can carry more people. Yes they can, but they can't go as fast, and especially in between towns it's more beneficial to go ahead and have the intercity because it's always better to go ahead and have buses with less capacity but are more frequent in this game anyway, than have buses with an ultra large capacity but only come once every hour. If you understand where I'm coming from. In general, you tend to make more money consistently that way, whereas if you go ahead and just have 1 or 2 buses which have an extremely large capacity, then you do make money but it's only in bursts, it's not consistently. So let's go ahead and buy 1, 2, 3, 4 extra buses for this line, and that's probably, I'm just going to buy 5, 6 to be honest. We're needing to build for the future, we're not just needing to go ahead and I guess cover up a little cut. That wasn't really an amazing metaphor, to be honest. I was sort of thinking of something in my head and it just really didn't come out the best. But that's there. I need to go back up to Boulder, if I'm totally honest, because Boulder is our choke point. Why is there just, in general, just everywhere needs a bit of a capacity upgrade, to be honest. It really does. How are you guys doing? You're full. You're full. Everyone just needs, this is why I feel I need trains, honestly, connecting up some of these towns. And that's why I think Silverton would be an easy enough one to go ahead and connect up. I really do. And I think that's what I might do, actually. Because Silverton's like, it's on top of the plateau, if you know what I mean. So it's easy enough to connect up. What big an issue would that cause? You know what, let's do that actually. So it goes from Thompson to Silverton and then to Castle Rock. Yeah, that would definitely work. So I don't want to go ahead and cause too many issues to the current line. I want the current line to continue to grow right now. But I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, start on a little extra project here. So that's going to cost me quite a lot of money, which I'm totally fine for. Now, that's a good point actually, which while I'm thinking of it, make sure go ahead and instill it, is that if you feel that you are seeing anything on this map that I'm blatantly obviously missing and would like me to focus on in future episodes, then please go ahead and leave that down in the comment section below, because I have an idea of rough stuff I want to do, but there's nothing too epic really left on my list of building that I want to do. So if you do have an idea, then I'll go ahead and consider it, and I'll possibly go ahead and implement it into this map. Anyway, the next big thing is, where would the station actually go in Silverton? That is a very, very big one. To be honest, I think it'd be really cool if we could have it around here by the airport, because that would help out the airport a lot. So I'm going to pre-build the station because I don't really know where to build the line right now, to be honest. So it's going to be a station which, I really like the stations we built at the other side of the map actually, these stations here. So it's going to be 2 platform, 240 platform roofing. We could go for yes this time actually. Don't see why not. Then let's get high speed tracks, catenaries yes, and I think that all works out there quite nicely. So if I could have it maybe in between there, that would be so cool, but that's not going to work for sure. I want it roughly round about here. It doesn't necessarily have to be bang on right beside the airport, if you know what I mean. I'm just thinking I need that there for the bus. Just the connection up to the town centre. So the town centre station is here, which that seems to be doing okay, but I don't think I can really have, I could maybe get a central station in this little pocket here, to be honest. I could do that actually. So if we go ahead and try this again, but if we pivot you right round here, and then we go ahead and try build you in there, that would work. Yeah, that works. It's really not going to be that elegant, and I don't know how easy it's going to be to connect up, but I'm going to give it a shot. It's quite central, which I like actually. So if I go ahead and build that out, that would work. It's just going to cause a wee bit of issues, but they're not that bad. There's going to be a bit of a too much slope thing here, but I can easily move this junction back going forward, so it would work. And I'm going to go ahead and try and make it work now. So here we have it, the very, very sharp turn as you come into the station. So you sort of cross over the road and then you look back round and into the station. So that is probably the more difficult part done, as said, because the exit, there seems to be a bit of a corridor. I'm going to have to delete some housing, but that's no problem. And I've already gone ahead and connected up that part of the line. So for the exit, yeah, we are going to have to delete some houses, unfortunately. We'll go ahead and delete this block here, part of that block, and we should be good actually. So it's just going to be just a few level crossings, I guess. Too much slope though. Ugh. Yeah, there's a bit, because the problem is that this station's quite elevated right now, so I need to go ahead and I guess soften out some of this terrain and just give myself what you would call more of a sort of like a runway for the tracks. Just sort of a, that's not runway, what's the words? An embankment, that is the word which I'm looking for, an embankment to just sort of roll along here like that. Now again, that's probably not going to be totally ideal, and I'm probably going to get tons of errors still. Well, actually not too bad, to be fair. Right, there we go, there we finally have it. So not pretty right now, but once I go ahead and do some terraforming, I'm sure it will be. Still having some issues though leaving this. It's just the up and down, to be honest, that's the real problem, and just sort of getting it to work with the roads as well. This part here is the worst, and it seems that these kinds of roads need upgraded before you can actually get like 2-lane level crossing over them, which is very strange. So if I go, I'm going to delete this road. I'm literally going to delete this road. Fed up with aspects of this game, not going to lie. There we go, that works, no problemo. So it's going to lose a lot of speed coming through this part, but it's coming into the station anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But this hopeful next stretch will be able to go ahead and make extremely straight, going back over towards Thompson. Again, camera, just annoying when you are saving. So this is just going to be pretty straight section, to be honest, creating loads of tunnels and embankments here. And we need you to go ahead and... whereabouts? You need to go ahead and just have a nice, I guess, curve coming into the station like you've got at the other end, which I'll show you in a second. So this is a good entry angle. Then we need to go ahead and just sort of have you just connect in like that. Absolutely perfect, like so. Now we need to have another line running along parallel here and to about there, and this will be the hard part. Just going ahead and connecting you like that. That works actually very well. So that looks quite nice. There's a tiny bit missing there, but I think that's more of a graphical glitch because you can see the line, it's just not got its holders, or what are they called? They're not called holders. Why am I forgetting so many words today? I know what the word is. The sleeps, or... that's not the word either. It's something like that though, I think. But it is going to work, and that's connected up nicely there. So I'm very quickly just going to go ahead and double up this whole section of the track. The modification to the line won't be too difficult. I'm going to leave the old line there anyway, just in case, because we could always create a... that'd be stupid. I was going to say loop there. I do need to go ahead and add in some signaling though, which I'll do very quickly. So there we have it. That is this line now signaled up, which is good. Again, hopefully I've got my signaling right. The last few times I've played signals, we know it's not gone too well. This line is going to have a knock-on effect on our buses though, which is a good thing because I felt that if I was going to need to put more buses into Silverton, then it just caused the time to break. Silverton has a population of like, what, 3,000? Okay, just about there. Thompson is about the same population, so they've got large populations anyway, and of course they connect down into Boulder, so that's an absolute clusterfuck. But hopefully this line will just go ahead and relieve some of that pressure, which is what I'm wanting. So for this, we need to jump into our line manager. We'll jump in to the railroad. So as we can see right now, our train from San Carlos to Dolores is into the profit, and a decent profit at that, 8 million, and that's only hopefully going to continue to go up. The problem is with that line is that Arvada and Dolores are very large places, and that's where you're going to get a lot of money from, but at the other end of the line, Crossville, Almosa, you're not going to get much money. So it's going to be it's going to take a while for those smaller towns, I guess, to just build up. Right now though, we can see the Tejada to Ranch line is on 28 million. It was in the 30 millions there a second ago. But let's go ahead and change the order very quickly. So I'm hoping this goes smoothly, I so do, because I'm not pissed off today with this recording session, but I'm just not... there's a few aspects which haven't just gone well, and... life, you know, life. Right, anyway, so after stop number 2, you're going to come along here and stop now at Silverton, and then that means that after Thompson, we're going to stop in here at stop number 9, and that works out. That should be successful anyway, and as we can see now, the line is going over to Silverton. So I don't know if I need to go ahead and maybe add in more trains into this line now that it's longer to go ahead, because the frequency might have dropped. Actually, that's something, the frequency has dropped by a minute actually, and I don't know how much use. I'm hoping that the Silverton railway station will actually get used straight away, because one, it's in a central location, 2, Silverton has a lot of issues, and it's quite close to the bus station as well, which works out to the advantage. There's still a lot of people waiting to go down to Boulder though, and I really don't know how I'm going to solve a lot of these issues, to be honest. How are we actually doing down here? So in general, this place isn't doing as bad as it once was. I am going ahead and thinking about trying to go ahead and implement a railway line which comes through here at the top of the town. The reason why I haven't done, I actually have attempted, and I said it in another episode, I have attempted to run a railway line through Boulder before, but it just didn't go too well. That was actually one in the valley though, connecting up Boulder to Willow Creek, and I went ahead and the purpose of that was to go ahead and remove the buses. However, the buses were still required, so it was literally pointless. So I went ahead and I didn't play on that save. I did that off camera because it took me like way too long. But I just feel like, say for example up here what we've done, we have gone ahead and created this, but now there's so much building going on around, there's a new town around now, and there's just a lot of issues which are just like, you're using my roads, this is my roads. And there's no way again to allow no building to happen on roads. That's the most frustrating thing, it really is. In general though, we're not having too many traffic issues, so we're fine. This station's just struggling, and the reason for that is just because of lane sharing, which is out of my control as we know. Anyway, I want to see a train come actually through Silverton. We do have some people waiting. How many? 7 people waiting, which is not a bad number. Is there a train on its way though? There is a train on its way, which is good to see. I think this is, oh, there's trains coming in both directions actually. It looks like this one coming in from Thompson is going to be the first one to come along into this station. So you've got 112 people on you, which is a fair amount of people. And hopefully you'll go ahead and be able to fit on. I don't know if anyone's going to get off actually, because how new this station is, to be honest. But we'll just very quickly speed this game up. It just causes so many frame rate issues when you speed games up. That's why I really don't go ahead and speed things up much anymore. But you've got 112 people on you right now. Are you going to drop anyone off or pick anyone up? The answer is yeah, you're going to drop some people off and you're going to pick a few people up actually. So not bad. I think it's a good idea. Going forward, this will get more popular as things go on. But it's little tweaks like this which I can go ahead and implement, which is going to make the whole world of difference. Now, I have been thinking about the Silverton, Boulder, all that situation. I'm thinking that it may be a good idea to go ahead and have a tunnel which goes basically from here into Jackson. This end of Jackson is so quiet. Look at it, the streets are bare. In general, Jackson is... there's not a lot of traffic just because the tram does such a good job. Like, you see how little cars are here? It is pretty amazing. It's just because this town evolves around, basically just evolves around the one road up until this point here. But going ahead and adding in that second road, it's going to have maybe an advantage that if people need to go to Boulder, they have to go through, or sorry, if they want to go to Jackson, then they have to go through Boulder. They have to go through the upper, then they have to go down to the lower, then they have to go through Jackson. Whereas this could go ahead and not solve the issue, but just give an alternative, if you know what I mean, and maybe cause a little less congestion. The downside to it is that it may cause more congestion. But I'm going to give it a go anyway and see if it will work. First of all, actually, let's cancel that because I've got the wrong road type selected. So this would be an extremely large build, and it's going to cost me quite a lot of money. It's going to be a tunnel, obviously, and it would come down ideally to here. Like in there, yep, so that cost me 33 million, which is that something I'm willing to do, or we can always have it coming along here actually, so we can go ahead and serve more people. Now this would cause, I think, too many issues. I think it would cause, yeah, first of all, that's stupid. Let's go ahead and draw it from this end. Again, the game just being weird with angles there. Let's go ahead and do that. That would cost 23 million, and I'm happy to go ahead and do that. So that's a little bit cheaper, and it's very straight and very direct. That's why I guess it's much cheaper. So I want to go ahead and, I mean, the reason I built that here is because it gives this part of the road a purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully try and make just a wee bit more elegant sort of connection, if I can. So just sort of just a small corner there, and then a small corner there like that. So that works out much more nicely. Very quickly just pad some of this down. Make it look that a little bit more natural. I mean, to be fair, you're always going to be able to see old roads. You always are, but if I can go ahead and make it just look that little bit nicer, especially around where the old road was. Unless you look very closely now, I mean, you can roughly see where the old road was, but you need to look in quite a bit of detail, which is something I like to go ahead and cover up. With that done, this gives us the option to go ahead and create ourselves a bus which comes into here, because literally Lower Jackson, I do not believe, has ever received a single passenger. Legit, I've never seen someone waiting at this station. It's just a good turning point at the end of the line, and that's why I have it. Unless the trams would have to go ahead and do the glitchy thing where they sort of just spin themselves around in the road, which wouldn't work. So that is why I've got that there. As you can see, hardly anyone waits up this end. But this road here, for example, could definitely do with some connections, and that's why we're going to go ahead and create ourselves a bus lane. Now, I did say at the start of this episode, oh, I'm never going to build another bus lane again, or another bus line. I kind of am. I really am, to be honest, aren't I? maybe just ignore what I said. So we're going to go ahead and have a stop in here, and we'll have another stop here. Now this might cause Boulder to grow a bit around about this part of town, just because it's going to have better transport connections, and that's why in general Boulder grew so much in the first place, just because of having strong connections throughout. This is against just doing the final part which isn't connected up too well. Anyway, we're going to have those 2 bus stops there, then you're going to come up here. Now, we have a choice. We can go ahead and, I mean, this part of Silverton, this bottom part of Silverton, as you can see, is not served too well. So I need to go ahead and think about which areas I'm going to serve. Because I can just go via the railway station, which is kind of tempting, but then that could cause a lot of problems on this road here. Or I could go via the airport, but the airport's already served. But so is of course, so is the centre of town with the railway station. I think what we're going to do is we're going to maybe do a wee bit of a spiral here. So you're going to start off at a bus stop there. You're then going to make your way... Yeah, I think we are actually going to do that. I think we're going to do... This part of the line's going to be a bit unnecessarily long. So you're going to stop there, you're going to go into the airport. You're going to come along probably to about here. I don't know if that... I think that built correctly. Then you're going to sort of just cut through the back streets, I guess. So you're going to cut through there, stop there. Then you're going to come up to the station, which people could walk to the main bus station, but I've gone ahead and added in a bus stop there, and then can go into the main station itself, which this station's actually doing quite well. It's got a lot of routes coming to it, but the Thompson and the Silverton ones are sort of going to be redundant now we've changed the railway line. Anyway, let's get this line built very quickly. There's a lot of people waiting at Silverton Station, a lot of people, which is great to see, and that's the purpose why we went ahead and rerouted it via there. So it's going to go via 11th Street, Poplar Street, which we've had many a time, Oak Street, then the airport, then into Church Street, then you're going to come right through the tunnel, and you are going to stop at the one and only 5th Street and East Street, and then just go ahead and do the return. So it's actually going to have a lot of stops on it. It's not the most direct. Again, we can always go ahead and change it if it's not making too much money, but I think it just serves a part of the town as well of Silverton which hasn't been served well. And I mean, I really could have made a connect for this town, because there's so much. I mean, there's this whole section over here as well which is not getting served too well. So there's really quite a bit of work I could do, that is for sure. Anyway, 11th Street, and that is you complete. So this is the first change that Jackson, and probably the first mention Jackson has had in an extremely long time, honestly. To be fair, I would have mentioned the word Jackson at the start of the video when I was reviewing the towns, but it's the first modification to Jackson probably since about episode 8, so it's been an extremely overdue visit. With that line created though, Silverton does have its own depot, so let's go ahead and get some buses on the move. A nice purple it's got actually, which I like, the dark purple. We'll go ahead and buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, we'll buy 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are on to the Jackson Silverton, and it was more of a lighter. I'm getting colorblind, I think. I honestly am. Like, I'm just getting all my colors wrong consistently. So you guys will roll out, and hopefully you'll go ahead and work your bit of magic. To solve one of the current issues here, which is going down to Boulder Silverton, I know why there's so many people waiting there. It's because there needs to be another bus stop, probably along about here, I think, and that's why I'm going to make a modification to that line. So this is one of our OG lines, I guess you could say. We jump into road. This is our Boulder to Silverton here. This is the line which we're working on. So right now it starts at Davis Street, which is totally fine. So after stop number 5, you're going to come in here and now stop at Green Street. Funny that, green line, Green Street. Great banter game. Then we're going to go ahead and stop after Boulder. It's going to stop in at Green Street. So that's an extra stop, which again serves this part of town. There's a large gap, I guess. You could literally have 2 railway stations. If this part of town grows out well, we can always have another station here. So I have like Silverton Central and Silverton Outer, if you know what I mean. Because it's definitely a possibility, and that's something I've really not done, is given a town more than one train station. A lot of towns could support it, a lot of towns really could. Boulder is a prime example. Anyway, 98 people waiting there. Trains are full. I think we're going to have to maybe go ahead and deploy maybe 2 or 3 more trains onto this line, just because I'm sure it's doing extremely well with its modification. We very quickly go ahead and check. So I scroll all the way through that for nothing. So right now it's at 16.3. but it's going to continue to go up, I can guarantee it. And I think I'm just going to add 2 more trains in just to go ahead and give the line a little bit more capacity. And I also think as well that the trains on this line aren't actually that close spaced together. I mean, we've got 8, and for the distance of the line, it can easily support 2 more. How are you doing coincidentally, actually? Yeah, you're full. You really are full, so camera is just pissing me the fuck off, not gonna lie, it really is. And frame issues. Frame issues is something which I've not touched on in a few episodes, but it's starting to become more apparent. Maybe not for you, but for me definitely. I'm playing the game, it's something which is just frustrating. It's just unfortunately the way the game is. That was close. Being created, they've not, I mean, I think they have implemented some algorithms, but they've not implemented enough algorithms. And basically how games work is that if there's multiple processes to do at once, which in this game there is, then unless the game is threaded and unless the game uses like multiple cores in your computer, then it's all going to be relying on the one processor or core or whatever. And the amount of stuff that's going on in this map, just think, the amount of stuff that's going on per second in this map is ridiculous. The amount of buses that are moving, the amount of people that are moving, the amount of people waiting, the amount of just AI stuff, the amount of cars driving around, the amount of planes, trains, so much stuff you've got to consider. This game needs, I mean, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not like Battlefield 1, but it does need a lot of parallel processing is really what it needs, which is a module I'm actually currently studying. That's why I am, I guess, chatting a lot of shite, as people would say. A lot of people, again, waiting to go to different towns, which is something I'm going to have to go ahead and sort out into the future. A lot of people waiting at the station, actually, 160 all in all, so thank God we just put a new track, or new trains on the track. Tajara is a place I want to look at next. Before we do go though, I want to go ahead and run all the way. There's just so many people waiting at every single town, literally. I mean, even Fort Morgan, San Carlos, these are new towns which are having a bit of a bitch now. How are our new towns doing? So, Glenwood has grown a little bit. For what it can, it has grown a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and give it some more flat land for the next episode though. And Eagle Creek has grown a tiny weeny bit, but it has grown, which is good to see. I want to see how well these buses are doing actually, because profit wise I really don't think they're going to be doing too well. You've got 7 people on you, which isn't too bad. It's what I would roughly expect anyway. So if we go ahead and very quickly look for B and then gold, I wish you can go ahead and maybe like extend this. Oh, they're in the profit. That's a surprise, not gonna lie, that's a big surprise. I wish you could go ahead and extend this window so you can go ahead and see more vehicles at once. But that's surprising, both of the golds, gold stands for Gold Town, funnily enough, quite an easy abbreviation there. They're doing well for the current time being and just for the small populations of the towns. How's Eagle Creek doing? Just about at 100 people. And both of them started this episode with what, about 50 people, so it's good to see that some building is happening. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode up here, so thanks very much for watching. Please leave a like, rating, subscribe if you are new around here. Click the links on screen to some videos that you haven't already seen, and I will be back tomorrow with some more City Skylines. Anyway, that's all for this video, so thank you very much for watching. My name is ConflctNerd Callum, and I'm out.